Oops. All right, Sue, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Thanks.
All right. All right, Mr. Crosswick, whenever you're ready, you can unmute your device and start your video. All right, can you hear me, Mr. Crosswick?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I can. All right, this is in the matter of Dawn Marie McKenzie versus Stephen John Crosswick, file number 17-44784 DM. Mr. Crosswick, we are here today on your motion. So you filed a motion requesting that I recuse myself from your case due to an active formal complaint filed with the Michigan Judicial Tenure Commission by defendant Stephen John Crosswick involving Judge Anzalone. Because you feel that having filed a formal complaint may cause bias, and you make a reference to Michigan Court Rule 2.003B. So, Mr. Crosswick, is there anything else you would like to add to your motion?
Yes, I've also requested an investigation by the court administrator's office, Tom Boyd, and I've asked the Ways and Means Committee of Lenawee County to investigate the Lenawee County Court. So 3 requests for investigations.
Okay, anything else?
I guess I do have a question about my notice that I got.
The notice that you filled out?
No, the notice to appear today. I got it on Thursday. I hope Ms. McKenzie got hers before Thursday of this past week for today's hearing. Is Ms. McKenzie in the courtroom?
No.
Your office sent her a notice, I believe.
Right, but she doesn't have to appear unless she wants to.
Okay.
'Cause this motion doesn't really involve her. I have a notice of hearing on November 7. That was mailed out for today's hearing,
Yeah, which date was it mailed out, Judge?
November 7.
No, mine's dated November 15th. So I don't know. My notice was dated November 15th.
My notice is signed by Miss Adams.
Judge, there is another one. I'll print it. Must not have made it to the file yet.
Okay.
And then
Well, hold on a second, Miss Adams. Why is there another notice? Because I have. Oh, I don't know.
And then there's a
Did you
second.
receive it, Mr. Crosswick?
There's a second notice that says bench trial for Friday, January 1st, year 6201 at 9 a.m.
Yeah, we're scheduled out pretty far.
I did call your clerk's office.
Mr.
They told me
Crosswick,
to
I
bring
guess-
it up to you,
Yeah.
Judge.
Okay, I do see that, but you received the notice for today though, right?
On Thursday, yes.
Okay.
2
But you
days
don't-
before this hearing.
Okay,
And at the last hearing, I was notified.
so I
that
have a
Mr.
notice
Brooks-
of hearing
Judge,
from.
can I finish my sentence,
Well,
please?
no, I've been handed this, so I do show that another notice of hearing was mailed out with the corrected bench trial date. But the original notice mailed out on November 7 had today's date correct for today's hearing.
I didn't get that notice.
Okay, all right, so go
so my
on. Do you
second
want me to
question-
adjourn this then if you're didn't
No,
get?
I'm ready to proceed, Judge, but my other question is, at the last hearing, you notified me that Mr. Brooks withdrew from the case. Did Mr. Brooks submit a motion to withdraw, and did you sign the motion, Judge?
I don't know.
Just a question.
Let's see, I don't have it in the file. Did Mr. Brooks, does he no longer represent you?
He was Miss McKenzie's attorney,
Oh.
Judge.
Okay,
And you made the statement, or Miss Adams made the statement that he called the office to withdraw. I believe for an attorney to withdraw, they have to file a motion and you have to sign.
okay, so one of two things, they can do an oral motion on the record, or they can file a motion. I don't have anything on the file about Mr. Brooks withdrawing.
He just said that, let's see, whatever. Order exactly that he was now.
Oh, all right, so Mr. Crosswalk,
Yes.
once a hearing is concluded, Mr. Brooks would no longer represent her. So this is a new motion. So so attorneys, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but also the new notice was because his other one came back to us with a new address.
Oh,
That's why.
All right, so Ms. Adams just said that, Mr. Crossbeck, the November 7 notice came back to us because you are at a new address,
Which we talked about at my
Right.
previous hearing, yes.
right?
You
So,
asked if I was still at my
but Mr.
Saginaw address.
Crossbeck,
and-
if you believe you did not have proper notice for today.
No,
you
I
want me
have
to
proper notes.
adjourn?
I'm ready to proceed, Judge.
Okay.
Let's
And
proceed.
then, Mr. Crosswalk, so attorneys represent through the.
Are we on YouTube right now?
Yeah, I always YouTube. So, Mr.
I love
Crosswalk, there was an order following a November 22nd, 2021 hearing. And it's scheduled the next hearing for February 9th of 22. I don't know if Mr. Brooks still represents her, but if a hearing was concluded and an order entered, I don't know. So, but he's not required to be here today, so I don't know if Mr. Brooks is still on the case or not.
Okay, very good.
Okay, all right. So is there anything else you want to address with the court?
No, just to make the court aware that I've asked for from three different entities that I've asked that your court be investigated for misconduct.
Okay. So, Mr. Crosswick, right on the JTC website,
What
the-
does JTC stand for?
you said you filed a complaint against me for the Judicial Tenure Commission?
Yeah, I didn't know what those initials.
So
Okay,
right on their website, it says that there is no requirement that a judicial officer be recused or disqualified from a pending case based solely on the fact that a request for investigation has been submitted or the judge learns of the investigation. If that were the case, litigants dissatisfied with legal determinations may be compelled to file a request for investigation merely to obtain reassignment to another judge. The Michigan Court Rules and Code of Judicial Conduct addressing judicial disqualification does apply. However, so that a judge who develops a bias based on the existence of a commission investigation should act in accordance with the applicable rules and canons. So, Mr. Crosswick, I appreciate your motion, but I feel, and I've always felt, that I'm able to represent the bench and continue doing my duties without recusing myself just because a JTC complaint was issued.
Can
So
you-
I.
can you answer why you have not allowed me to see my child in over 5 years, Judge? Can you answer that?
Because you failed to comply with the order that was entered to get you on the route to see your child.
And that was reunification therapy with a counselor at Trillium. Is that
I-
true, Judge?
I don't know because I'm not here on that today. I'm only here on your motion for recusal.
Okay, we'll be back.
I have not reviewed your file to be aware of that. I have a
I
lot of
suggest
files.
you do.
Well, I will if we have a hearing regarding those issues, but I
Okay,
don't
we will.
review,
I'll-
I don't review
I'll
the
file a
entire
motion.
file for every hearing. So
I
thank
will
you,
file a
Mr.
motion.
Crosswick. Thank you.
You're not recusing yourself, Judge?
No, there's no reason to recuse myself, Mr. Crosswick.
Okay, let the investigations continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's what they're there for. Thank you.
Have a good day, Judge.
You too.
See you on YouTube.
Yep. All right. Ms. Berger, what case are you here on?
Good morning, Your Honor. The King matter, Cook King matter.
I've got them both in the breakout room. Is there, okay, they're proper. Okay. All right, Mr. Cook, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Miss King, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is in the matter of Jenny Lynn King, formerly known as Cook versus Joel Robert Cook, file number 20-47769DM. I have Ariel Berger appearing on behalf of the plaintiff. We are here today on plaintiff's motion to modify parenting time and motion to show cause. Ms. Berger, you may proceed.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. We are asking at this point, Judge, based on our motion with the attached exhibits for supervised parenting time. If you would like, we can treat today as a pretrial, or I can ask that my client be sworn and I can question her to present some evidence today to at least get a temporary order regarding supervision.
So my next hearing's at 10 a.m. So I don't know that we have quite enough time for all of that, but you can take as much time as you would like up until that point.
Okay, thank you. Ms. King, can you raise your right hand, please?
All right, Ms. King, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. King, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Did you cause a motion to be filed in this matter on or about November 10th of 2022?
Yes.
And this is a similar motion to what you filed on your own this past July. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And when you filed in July of this year, you were able to come to an agreement with Mr. Cook?
Yes. After that had kind of all occurred, we did communicate back and forth about like a supervised visit and being more clear in communication and things that are happening. So that was why I didn't further reach out for an additional trial.
Okay. And at this point, however, you have some concerns that you're not able to address or to come to an agreement with Mr. Cook on. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And since we filed this motion, have you been able to secure some sort of supervision while your children are with Mr. Cook?
It has just kind of worked out that way since then, that he has been having the children with his mom, which has been supervised. I know there's been some times in between that she hasn't been around, but yes, it has been working out better.
Okay. And do you trust his mother to be a good supervisor for the
I
minor
do.
children?
Yes,
And do the minor children have a good relationship with her?
they do.
I want to bring you back a little bit to July, okay? Since July, there have been several incidences that have occurred. Is that correct?
Yes.
And starting with October 28th, 2022, roughly, was there ever a time that you believe the defendant to be at your home?
Yes.
And why was he at your home?
So the kids went to school and then they had trick or treating and they were going to his home for the weekend. And so he was going to take them trick or treating. So he needed to stop by and pick up a few of their things and their like costumes and stuff.
Okay. And did he drive there?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know that if he has a current driver's license?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And how do you know that he was at your, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. And how do you know that he was at your home on or about October 28th of this year?
I have installed a Ring camera for purposes such as this.
Okay. And were the children with him at that time?
My son was. I'm not sure if my daughter was. I think she had already been picked up from school. Their school ends at different times.
Okay. And since July, has there been any children's services investigation or involvement?
So I'd have to clarify dates, but I don't think after that, I think CPS was involved in June, to be honest, but there was like follow-up contact regarding that previous case that like recommended we do like these parenting things, and then they would be available as like a mediator in communications and things. But I mean, I have to double check, but I don't believe there was like a new case or anything like that at that point. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, thank you. And did they make any recommendations or referrals for your family?
They recommended and referred us to like the preventative parenting. I can't remember the name of it. It was more of a prevention area for both of us to work together. And again, we were given a couple contacts to use as mediators and some supports and resources for being able to communicate back and forth because that does lie a huge issue. And I think that was about it, but it never went any further.
And did you and Mr. Cook engage in any of those recommendations?
No, we did not. We did get to one meeting with that mediator and the caseworker. And at that point, they recommended to do this prevention and use these people. They sent us the information. And then I was notified by the caseworker that Joel was not going to work with them any longer.
Okay. And since the last time you were in court, has there been any domestic violence around the children?
My understanding is yes. I'm not sure if like it's actually been witnessed by the kids. I know it's been happening in the home. I was able to send you some of that.
Right. And do you know if there has been any criminality in Mr. Cook's home? So for example, have there been any recent arrests or police involvement?
Yes.
And can you explain to the court a little bit about what those were?
On the July 4th, there was an arrest for domestic violence. And then after that, I did call the police one time for a welfare check. I was not able to get a hold of anyone. And then additionally, the following day, there was a peace officer who came when my daughter requested that I pick her up because she was scared. She was not comfortable in the home. And a peace officer did come to the home that day as well.
Okay. And you stated that there has been some domestic violence in the home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who is that between?
Joel and his girlfriend, who was living in the home.
Okay. And have you ever had any communication with her?
Yes.
And what's that communication been like?
Well, it's not good necessarily. There was many a times that she was, texting, calling, sending, mean things to me. I would block her and she would continue to text me from 4 different numbers. But then later, after the July 4th incident, she did share with me a lot of things that were going on between the two of them. She would send me pictures, text messages, letting me know that there was domestic violence. There was an assault, there was this and that. She did share all of that.
Okay. And that domestic violence or the assault incident, do you remember about when she told you about that?
It was after the July 4th arrest, so it would have been like July 5th. Past that, I don't believe there was any additional. I believe it was all within like those few days that she sent me mostly everything, I believe.
And you are divorced from Mr. Cook, is that correct?
Correct.
And in your judgment of divorce, are there any special provisions regarding alcohol or substance use or abuse?
Yeah, it should say that it's there should be no substance abuse in the home.
Okay.
Alcohol abuse. Yeah.
And do you believe that provision to be violated at this time?
Yes, because I know that they're still drinking because there's been violations of probation based on drinking. I can't rightfully say that it's been, with the kids. They have told me like secondhand that they have seen alcohol happening or drinking happening. But again, I don't have like proof of that, I guess. Just heard from the kids.
Okay. And you mentioned a probation violation. Do you know about what day that was?
I have no idea because there was quite a few of them. starting in like, I believe, March. I know July 4th was a violation, for sure. And then since I believe there was another one after that, that the ex-girlfriend had told me about. But I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. And were any of those referrals from Children's Services, were any of those for counseling for the children?
Yeah, we discussed that, but the kids were already in counseling. So it was kind of added on that prevention plan that they would remain in counseling.
Okay, perfect. And is that something that you and Mr. Cook agree on?
We don't necessarily see eye to eye on that. Oh.
Okay. And is he able to make sure that they get to their counseling appointments when he has them?
I make sure to plan it on my nights so that it does not fall on his, because in the past he has refused to take them. And then back in, I believe it was September, might have been September, was the one night I couldn't move it. It had to be on his night and he did refuse to take them. So we did have to cancel that one.
Okay. And when you do parenting time exchanges, what do those look like?
Sometimes it's, the kids just come out, they're coming in, to my car. I'm typically the one picking them up. So it's not an issue, but there are times where if there's something else going on, that it is difficult. And I say difficult because it can make me uncomfortable. Joel will come to the porch or to the car and kind of wants to talk about things that not necessarily should be done in front of the kids. But it, like I said, it kind of varies on what's the situation or where we are in that.
Okay. And you said that he either comes onto the porch or comes to your car.
Mhm.
What physical location is that? Is that whose home is that at?
It's typically at his home. That's where we do exchanges.
And was there ever a time where you didn't know where he was living or where he was taking the children?
Yes. So there was a time after July where he was not allowed to live in the home with the ex-girlfriend who was living there. And at that time I had asked him like where he was staying, where the kids would be going. And there was a lot of refusal, just letting me know. That's kind of been the case a couple of times when, he's not been per se staying at the home. And then there was also the case of, when he left for Florida for a time period. It wasn't clear if he was returning, if, how long, things like that just weren't.
All
clear
right,
to
so
me.
Ms. Berger, I'm gonna have to stop you. We have about 6 minutes left. So I understand that there's some allegations back and forth, but he's exercising his parenting time, did you say, with his parents at this time?
Correct.
And your client is comfortable with his parents supervising?
I know it's with his mother. I'm not sure if it's with his father.
Just mother.
But yes, she is comfortable with the mother supervising.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Cook, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Judge.
So obviously, Mr. Cook, we're going to need longer for a hearing because you also get to present your side of the story. Based on the allegations and that you've already been doing supervised parenting time with your mom, or well, at least you've been doing your parenting time with your mom. Are you living with your mom?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, I
so
live alone.
you've just been going over there and doing your parenting time?
Yes, mainly.
Okay, do you have any objection to continuing that until we can get a hearing date?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you have any objection to me adding a clause that there's not to be any consumption of alcohol during parenting time?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, Ms. Berger, would that be an interim agreement that would be satisfactory?
I believe so, Your Honor.
And also no transporting the minor children without a driver's license, all right? Okay, so Ms. Adams, do you have any other witnesses than your client, Ms. Berger?
Not this time, Your Honor.
No, I meant if for the hearing.
Oh, we will not judge.
All right, and Mr. Cook, I'm going to set it for an evidentiary hearing. Do you have any other witnesses than yourself?
If I can get a hold of my ex-girlfriend, Rebecca Coppins, I know she's actually at a treatment center right now in California. But if I can get a hold of her, I would like her to be present.
Okay, All right, so Miss Adams, I'm looking for 2 hours. And I probably am not gonna be able to get you in until after the first of the year, just because of our scheduling. But Miss Adams, I'm looking for a couple hours.
Okay.
It can be backed up in the afternoon of like something.
So December 29th is opened at 10 a.m. or 1:30 p.m.
Are you available December 29th at 10 a.m.? And Miss Berger's gonna say a hard no, I think she was saying.
Okay.
Yes, I'm out then.
Excuse me.
January 6th, 1:30 p.m. is open.
Miss Berger. Mr. Cook,
I'm okay with that, Judge.
all right. Okay, so Miss Berger, you'll do the interim order and the notice of hearing for January 6th at 1:30, and that'll be for 2 hours.
Yes, Judge, thank you.
All right. So, all right.
And is that via Zoom, Judge?
Oh, Miss Berger, if any of the parties want it in person, we'll do it in person, or we can do via Zoom. Mr. Cook, do you want to be in person or via Zoom?
The- I would say, because I don't know where Miss Coppins is going to be at the time, Zoom would be more appropriate for that, or even if we can bring her in as a witness over Zoom and be present, whichever is best for everybody.
Well, I'm asking you, do you, I mean, witnesses
like
can
to-
always appear via Zoom, but do you want to be in person or you want to be via Zoom?
Zoom, please.
Zoom, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Berger, do you wish to be Zoom or in person?
I'm fine with Zoom, Judge.
All right, so you'll add Zoom in there in your order and also make sure it says in there the hearing will be held via Zoom with the Zoom number, all right?
I will. Your Honor, would you like me to submit this under a 7-day or?
You can submit it today. I'll sign it today.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
You.
All right, I think that's it for a little bit.
Judge, I'm sorry. I'll receive a notice, correct, in the mail?
Yep, but just write it down, January
Yes.
6th at 1:30, and it's the same Zoom number you used today. All right,
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
not a problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.